All right, full moon during Leo season. I'm gonna try to keep this simple and sweet. Let's see if it works. I'm I'm broadcasting to you live from my bed. um, one of the beds that I sleep in. So yeah. Oh God, I even have that like kind of Aquarius look going on right now. But you know what? I could do this totally professionally. I've invested and practiced with the things that would make this look super professional. But I'm here and you're here, and I still believe that there's a reason for it and that I enjoy this and it comes from my heart. And so if it reaches someone, it's going to benefit whoever it reaches in whatever way. So you can still like and share. So actually just do like and share. So let's see. This full moon in Aquarius. Wow. Who's been tired? Okay, so one particular astrologer, I follow like maybe four different astrologers occasionally. Um, there's one group of astrologers that I follow almost every day, but and they're awesome. But yeah, so this one particular astrologer, she's really good. She goes in depth and stuff. And she was saying on July 13th, everything's going to slow way down. And I did not want to hear that because I was like just starting to get into a groove. It felt like for the first time in my life. I don't know about you guys, but did you feel things slow way down? So on July 13th, I was like, this was great. I didn't feel like things slowed down. It was perfect for me. But then like a week later, I was like, what the fudge, quicksand, mud is this? I am so tired. What is going on? And yeah, and I started hearing that I had actually been hearing other people say that they were tired for a while. And I was like, nope, I'm going to stay away from those people because I don't want to catch they're tired. I don't want to catch it. Well, it's good to slow down sometimes. And it appears because things have been in retrograde, our outer planets, our slowest moving planets, the planets that have to do with society and karma and structure and power, have retrograded. So what that means is they appear to be moving backwards. And they have done that. And there's been a combination of Neptune and Saturn. So like Saturn's like the wall. It has to do with structure. And that can be really good in some ways. Like if you think about like water slides, for example, without the structure of the water slides, the water wouldn't flow like it does, right? Yeah. But it's been retrograde. So it's kind of like slow down. Um, and it's been both of those, like this archetype of structure and then the archetype of water slowing down and appearing to move backwards has happened in fire, and it's the youngest fire, Aries. So what happens is when you get a lot of water and a lot of fire, it creates lava. Lava doesn't move like a wave. It doesn't like, it's not something you can surf. What the purpose of lava is to create new earth. So it's slow moving. And then when it reaches air, that's when it hardens and becomes like so solidified, super solid, like metal, like jewels, like pyrite, and like just like rich soil that has like green crystals and grows green things like the islands that sprout up from the lava, and that's how new earth begins. So that's kind of what we're going through right now. And it's been, I know people have been feeling it this past week. I know, shout out to all the teachers. I seem to attract friends that are teachers, which makes a lot of sense because I have Aquarius in my Venus and my Mercury. So like teachers don't really, they're not as annoyed when somebody like asks a lot of questions or likes to have the answers to things or likes to like, discuss what they think the answers to things are, because like teachers are less offended by that. They tend to be like okay with intellectuals. So like they don't think that we're like just trying to show off or be know-it-alls. So I tend to like be friends with that. But shout out to all the teachers that have to go back to school this week up in the northern hemisphere. I don't know what it's like in the other parts of the world, but maybe someday I will. And shout out to all the students that are going back to school this week as well. You all are like, this sounds very Aquarius, but y'all are like time travelers in a way, like unknowing time travelers, not even knowing it, like in the quantum entanglement of all that is, like the way that what you are doing when you go to school this week and next week. Like a lot of you are going to school this week to teach and to learn from each other and teach each other. You are literally materializing the future as you're doing that. So kudos to you all. Yeah. So, so we've got this like lava kind of vibe, and it appears to be moving backwards. So it's like, everything that you've been like working towards may have seemed like, for a lot of people, I've noticed this in the past year. It's the year of the snake too. In the past couple of years, people have been shedding a lot. They've been shedding social situations, realizing that no longer serve them, and all that jazz. And people have picked up and moved, and just there's been a lot of things that have been undone, especially up here in the northern hemisphere in the United States. We've had like a lot of things like taken down and rewound and undone. And so it appears that way. Retrograde makes it appear that way. And it can feel like that too. When the energies are making us slow down. But it's good to slow down. These energies have been at 1 degree, which is all about the self. It's about like 1 for 1. But 1 for 1 eventually becomes 1 for all. So people are really getting an opportunity right now and this next week. Things are going to speed up too this next week. So for anybody that feels a little stifled by the heat of this lava and this slow moving and this sleepy energy that maybe a lot of us have felt. I know that a lot of us have felt, and some of us not so much. Some of us have just been very focused on like our projects and things like that, because Aries is all about the projects. Aries is also all about your head. And Aries rules the head, and Aries also rules like the body. How can it rule both? Well, like every sign rules a different part of the body, but in general, Aries tends to be very focused on the body. Whereas like Pisces might be focused on the soul. So, but the body part for Pisces would be like the foot. So for the body part for Aries is the head. And in general, Aries is all about the body. But what I was going to say, because I was starting to say something and then I got all those other thoughts and like, okay, so rewind. I was saying, so we were talking about, it feels like lava, feels really sleepy to some. Oh, the 1 energy is very much about the self, and it is me. What works for me. So with this Aquarius full moon too, Aquarius is all about belonging. So Aquarius is like, where do I belong? Where do I belong? Where do I belong? Where do I belong with me though? It's hopefully, those of us who follow astrology are probably really like taking the time to focus on the self, and knowing like this has been the time to focus on the self. Even the outer planets, even Pluto, which has to do with past lives and karma and power and birth and death. So it's very scorpionic. It's karma. It's the past lives pavilion, and the power that intergenerational or that the repetition of things since the beginning of time. Things have been repeating since the beginning of time. Sometimes there's a little change every time it comes around again to repeat, but in general, the power behind something repeating since the beginning of time and rotating since the beginning of time, it feels very powerful because it's a motion that is already in action. So we felt a little bit of inertia because it's been slowed down, but that, and it's been at one. So it's been the energy of Saturn and Neptune being at one in Aries, and that happening during this time when it's also Aquarius, which is the individual. It's very individualistic. Aries is very individualistic. It's been a time to just really be thinking about like, what's in it for me? What do I need for me? And what's been really cool, even though it has felt like super sleepy energy this past week or so, is that any effort that we do make right now, it's just like, I'm noticing for some of us, we're going to just notice that it just falls into place. It just happens. Like, I've been practicing the guitar since I was a teenager off and on. And I've been playing the piano since I was 7 off and on. But none of it's ever come easy to me. I've been able to play by ear a little bit, but like, none of it's like ever come easy to me where I pick up an instrument and an entire song comes out, or a song that I like to sing, the entire accompaniment comes out. So that happened the other day, and I wasn't even really planning it. I was literally just moving around some furniture and moving my instruments out of the way, and like a song that I like to sing, the entire accompaniment just happened on my guitar. And I was able to sing at the same time. I've never been able to like do that easily, maybe to one song in my whole life that I had to keep practicing over and over again. And I could barely do it. And it was like clunky. So for some of us, this is like this time where it's slowed down a little bit and things are in retrograde. With Saturn, which has to do with structure and discipline, it's giving us that opportunity to just kind of let go and receive it. Like, let it, like, don't give up completely just because you're tired, but like, see what happens if you just pick up the guitar because you're moving it and you play a chord, the whole song comes out, like unexpectedly. So there's like a little hidden secret magic in there to some degree. Later on in the day, it was like my handpan, which I just got, and I don't even know what the notes are on it. And the next thing I knew, like an entire song, like accompaniment was happening on it. And I was able to sing and play at the same time an entire song, and I don't even know what the notes were. And it just happened. So the things that you have worked on, that you have constantly returned to, maybe they are like the things that are really you, like that 1 degree, which represents you, that Aries, which represents the individual, that Aquarius, which also represents the individual. Maybe these are like, there are these things that you have constantly returned to in your lifetime, just while you've been alive here, as well as like beyond this lifetime, but that's not what we're focused on because like we're alive right now. But there have been these things that you've returned to so many times in your lifetime, and maybe they've never really come easily, or you've just thought like, this is just a frivolous thing, like, and I just do it for a hobby, or I just enjoy it, but like now it's time to receive it. So this is great for people that are really into their career or pleasing their bosses and stuff like that, because not only is it a really gracious time because it's Leo, but it's also a time where if you give something your all and you're giving it from yourself, you're giving it from that place of like, this is really me and this really feels like it resonates with me. It's going to feel astounding in a world where many of us have been trained not to. Many of us has been programmed and conditioned to see ourselves as commodifications to capitalism and to making the big wheel turn and serving others. And anything that we enjoy on the side of that is just icing on the cake, but it's not like us. Like, that's how we've been trained to think about ourselves, but that's not really who we are. We are so much more than that. We are so much more than what we serve with. So those of us who like really give it our all from ourselves this week, like, can make the bosses really happy if we're in the right place. Like, if we're in the, so I've heard some astrologers mention something like that. Like, so that one I'm just regurgitating. It doesn't really apply to my life. I'm not trying to make any boss happy right now. But maybe you are, like, and so this is a great time because it'll be really felt, not just from that gracious Leo energy that can happen with Leo when Leo is well cared for. That there can be a very gracious energy with that. But a well cared for Leo, having experienced all the cat naps or the desire for cat naps this past week or two, seeing like someone else excelling and going over and beyond to perform, it will be very appreciated. So for any of you who are like, love to like, do the people pleasing careers stuff, like, because that works for you, because you're in the right spot for that to work for you, take advantage of that. Things are going to speed up this Sunday. Things are going to start to speed up a little bit. Some of us have felt like our mind is kind of foggy. Mercury's been in retrograde too, and Mercury rules the mind. And so Mercury's going to be going direct on Sunday, the 10th of August, and today is the 8th. And a lot of folks talk about today being the Lion's Portal. I'll talk to you about what the Lion's Portal is real quick. Lion's Portal was the New Year, and still is sort of the New Year in parts of Africa, and people have recognized it all over the world. But since Lion's Portal began, it used to be it has to do with the dog star Sirius, and it would align with the structures that were built and in our earliest times that we have been able to hold on to the recordings of. So they may or may not have been the oldest occurrences on Earth, but they are what we have record of, because every time like humanity decides to like throw away all its journals or burn up all its like data, we like lose information, right? But what some very old information that we have is that there were structures that were built to like, capture this alignment. But that alignment used to occur during a different constellation. And so now it would occur during Leo, and now that constellation is in Cancer, which is also like behind Leo. So it's like we've taken, in general, there's just this really big vibe of we've all taken some steps back, and it's to reassess. And right now, the reassessment has to do with us individually. We all need to get to like that point where we're like, wait a minute, I'm a person. I'm more than just a cog in the machine. I am a person that has like, I have my own individual needs and desires as a human being. That's one, and that's Aries, and that's also part of Aquarius energy, which we're in right now. And Aquarius is polar opposite of Leo, but like they work together, like they're on a teeter-totter. So there's this need right now to be like, I'm human. Like, I need so much more than to just be on the internet playing video games or trying to survive, which is what a lot of us humans try to do. We're just trying to survive, whether that's through like the OnlyFans pages, or whether that's through working at a job like that doesn't fully fulfill us, and it's only like one tiny little part of us, or it's made up some persona as part of our identity, but not all of our identities, right? So like, this is the time where we're like, I am a human being. Like, I am dynamic as a human being. I am all these other things, not just that. So, Yeah, this is the time for that, and it's required some slowing down and stepping back to like look into it. And I would love to be like all like Leo, like, you know, gorgeous, but like I'm looking more Aquarius today, I think. I'm just like, I got my socks. I got my little socks here. Got my like rainbow star socks, and I'm just like, you know, here I am, like, and obviously very, very heady this morning. But yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, so the first card that I'm drawing for all of you. Now, what's happening right now, we're going to start to see the effects of it in February. Usually it's 6 months. So whatever 6 months is from today, Leo, oh yeah, that's February. Ha! But it's also February because that's when we come out of some of this retrograde energy. Like, yeah. So let's see. Okay, so Aries, remember I was saying it was the body? Okay, so here's a card. Here's one card. So this is, I am pain-free and totally in sync with my life. Body pain is a huge thing for so many people. A lot of people are so disconnected from their body and so used to serving others and to survive that they're not feeling their bodies, but body pain's definitely in there. Big time, big time. No, even if people deny it, they, like, almost everybody has body pain constantly because, like, we live our lives in survival mode, so many of us. And even like our entertainment, our TV shows, our movies, our video games, they're constantly shooting our system with cortisol and adrenaline that turns into cortisol, which makes us fat too, but it keeps us in this like anxiety state. So the body like hurts physically when we're constantly in like a icky, stressed out state, sitting in traffic, all of that junk. So it says, I return my body to optimum health by giving it what it needs on every level. This is so good because this is like, you know, like lava reaching the air. Aquarius is air and a full moon is water. So like, you've got lava moving through the ocean. You've got like this fire energy mixed with Neptune, mixed with Saturn. It's creating structure. It's creating new earth. And what do we need as babies? We need to remember, it even looks like this is coming up out of the ground, like out of the earth. And it's like, it looks like new earth. I can't help but see the synchronicity there. So Aries is about the body. I return my body to optimum health by giving it what it needs on every level. Yeah, this past week I was like, oh, I forgot to, I usually take my supplements. I had even like gotten my like situation down to where I was like, if you don't want to take your supplements, you're going to have gummies, you know, like giving myself gummies. And like, but this past week or so, I started forgetting to. So like getting back on track with that. What do like little baby sprouts need? What do us as humans that our little baby sprouts need? Okay, I'm at 23 minutes, so I'm going to give you some more. So that's really good that I return to my body and give my body what it needs. Okay, so that was a Louise Hay deck. They say like this is a really good time to release too because, well, full moons are a great time to celebrate everything that you've done. So give yourself some credit for all you've done so far. You've done so much. All of us have. If we're even still alive, like right now, we've done so much. And that especially goes for anyone marginalized in any way whatsoever. And if you don't know what marginalized is, maybe you're like, you know, like that's not a word that's part of your vocabulary. It's basically anybody who's not white, cis, male. You know, like basically almost everybody like is marginalized in some way. We all have marginalized aspects of ourselves that we meet at intersections of everything. And like, depending on how many of those obstacles that we have in our life, you know, whether it's just, you know, you name it, there's, you know what obstacles are, like there's so many that exist, right? So, what was my point? Before I just started trying to censor myself and being like, did I really just use the word marginalized? But yeah, I did. So whatever, I'm gonna own it. What was I saying though about it? Bodies. Well, I don't remember. But yeah, keep on. Oh, if you're alive right now. I mean, yeah, if you're alive and you're able to watch this, yeah, we've come so far. Like, look at us. We're still here. Like, we're still alive. Like, that's huge. And I know that there's been a lot of other types of achievements. All right. So the next deck I'm pulling from for you. Now, these are things that are, this is to carry us until February. These sprouts are going to be showing what they are, and they're going to be ready for some harvest in February. Okay? This is the I Can Do It deck. Because I don't know about you, but I have a feeling I might not have been the only one. I'm very tapped into the water and fire energy. So like it was transiting my natal, but I can do it. I can do it. This called to me today. I'm just gonna pull from it. I'm pulling from it right now. Like, you can do it, Like, I can do it. Okay. All right, this is for you all out there. It's my job allows me to express my talents and abilities. I'm grateful for my employment. My workspace is a pleasure to be in. There is mutual respect among my coworkers. Ooh, that's powerful. You can do this. You can have this if you want this. Now, your work, you may be like, a job that pays you a paycheck. It may be volunteer work. It may be your existence on this planet, just your existence. The way that you connect with other human beings and the wisdom that you offer, or the laughs that you share, or the way that you take care of the house, and the way that you take care of the home, and you run a tight ship or a loose ship, so that everybody that comes and goes out of that house can have the best life as possible. Whatever it is that you identify with as what feels like that really lights you up and makes you feel excited in your body to get up in the morning and to be awake. So this space is a pleasure to be in. There is a mutual respect among your coworkers, among our coworkers. I'm like so stoked for you all that you got this. How many people, especially people who are like really, organizing to make things good for other people, like churches and like teams that get together to share astrology and like to lift people's spirits. So for all of you, your space is a pleasure to be in. There is mutual respect among coworkers. I am so stoked for you. And like, I don't even wish that for you, because that is for you. That's your card. Your jobs, your way of life is allowing you to express your talents and abilities, and you're grateful, and it feels good, and everyone's getting along. It's a pleasure to be there, and there's mutual respect. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. I love that. I'm so excited for you guys to have that. Wow. That's so good. The next one I'm going to pull from for you is Ask and It Is Given. This one is, Esther and Jerry Hicks. Esther and Jerry Hicks. Esther, I'm not sure what pronoun she uses, actually. She's from another generation too, so I don't know if she necessarily even like knows about pronouns or like cares about pronouns. I don't think she's even necessarily like democratic or anything. I'm pretty sure she's pretty right wing. I don't know though. Who knows? But that basically this person channels another person. So Esther and Jerry Hicks. This is a person who channels a masculine energy named Abraham, and just astounding. Old school. I feel like old school in the sense that like this person's been around a while, but when they speak, like a lot of times like their stuff really resonates with me. And they have actually gotten they've gotten a little wokeness too, like as far as like, I don't even want to call it wokeness, but they showed some capacity recently in something I was listening to them about for like understanding about like redlining and racism and obstacles and things like that. And that was really cool for me to like be like, oh, that's great. Whew. What a relief. Like they've been educating themselves recently, and that's like super cool. And like for me anyway, because they happen to have educated themselves about things that I've educated myself about, and so I could relate. Okay, here we go. Nothing happens without my having invited it. Nothing happens without me having invited it. So to put that, we're programming our futures right now with these sprouts, with this lava that reaches the sun and reaches the air and gets water from Neptune, and the structure from the earth hardening from the lava and the air and Aquarius. So we're programming these sprouts that are going to be growing. We're programming all the crystals and the jewels and the gold and the green crystals that people say are moldavite, but they're really just like green crystals from an island over there that just sprouted up. But like we are and they are like probably moldavite in some ways, shape, or form, because it's all star matter anyway. But yeah, we're programming this stuff right now. Like, so when we program this stuff, let's program that nothing happens without my having invited it. And I would actually change the words to that, because what we've learned about words and language is that if we use words that, like the word nothing happens, we're programming ourselves that nothing's going to happen. Like, I don't think that's something I need right now. I'm not even going to use those words. So I'm going to change those words to things happen when I invite them to. What I invite happens. So that's what I've changed that to, because that works for me. Because we're constantly learning more and more about our language. And yeah, that's something I've learned about language for me and for many people. Like, it's powerful spells. Our language is so powerful. And we're about to go direct in the energy that rules language. Mercury, the mind. When you understand the law of attraction, you are never surprised by what occurs in your experience. For you to understand that through your own thought process, you have invited every bit of it in. Nothing can occur in your life experience without your invitation of it through your thought. So yeah, that's incredible. What have you invited in? You know, some of us are so on it with like knowing that we can program some of this reality. Like physicists say that we're in a hologram. That's one of the thought theories of what's happening in our reality, is that this is a hologram that we program. So like, what are you programming? Some of us are so on it, constantly trying to like program and reprogram our reality and taking control of what we can in our lives. So like what, you know, like for me, I probably had made some kind of affirmation that I'll be able to pick up instruments and play effortlessly and be able to sing along while I'm playing effortlessly. I probably made up an affirmation like that at one point in time, but like maybe I had forgotten it. You know, like I'm getting to the age now where, especially like after having been in a couple car accidents, I had to take some like Western medicines from like the doctor, and like some of my, you know, like memories kind of, I can watch things that I've already seen before and be like, I don't remember that part, you know, and it's pretty cool. I've always had a very sharp memory. So it can make things kind of fun in some ways, but you know, like those of us who are on it, we like get this, like we understand the law of attraction, and we understand that we can program things. I highly recommend a book called E=MC². And it's a very tiny little book. It's usually black, glossy, and it's a female, I want to say the name was Patricia, but I might be confusing it with another book. But E=MC², and it's a book of it's like 4 or 5 little experiments that you do, where one of them is really fun. It's like how you find something that you've lost. Another one is just like quick manifestation, and it's just this little experiment that you do, and it'll blow your mind in regards to what you thought was possible or what you ever believed in before. Like, because so many of us have these structures that are old and outdated and we don't need them. And they need to be rearranged in order for the flow to work better in our lives. And some of those structures could be like, even the most spiritual of us might have this idea like it takes 3 months. Like I just said it earlier in this video, this is going to manifest in February. You're going to see some of these manifestations today. You know, tomorrow, whenever you see this video, you're going to be seeing it, like, because we've spoken it into existence. So let's just call it, you know, there's other cards that I could draw, but I think that's good. I mean, like, let me just take a minute here. Let me just let it come to me. Do we need another card? What are people on out there? People are scared about the world. You know, like people are afraid about is everything going to be okay? I'm picking up, you know, like, is everything going to be okay? Kind of vibes. I'm picking up. That was the ask and it is given deck, which yeah, that was a great thing to ask for. Yeah, let's just do one more. Is everything going to be okay? Yes. Yes, no matter what. Like, what's the worst case scenario? Like, you know, just let your mind go there for just a quick second. Don't dwell on it. Don't stay there. But worst case scenario, sometimes I do this for myself. I got a Venus and Mercury in Aquarius. So like, I'm just going to trust like on this Aquarius full moon that this is going to help someone. Sometimes I'll just go. I used to actually have a book called Worst Case Scenarios, and it was to prepare me for all this stuff. But no, I let my mind go here sometimes. What's the worst thing that could possibly happen? Torture could be really bad. First, you know, you might think like the whole world blows up and that would be so horrible. And so many of us have been fed that narrative that that's like going to happen. Like a lot of us have been fed that narrative. A lot of us Gen Xers and a lot of, people that were like alive before, in the 60s, like, you know, I was born in the 70s, but like, you know, a lot of us have been fed this fear that everything's going to blow up. But the thing is like we have had so many people who have had near-death experiences or who have died and come back and have told us that it's not what you think it is. Like it is fine. Everything's fine. You know, it's fine over there. Don't worry about it. Like, so might think that's the worst. For me, I would be like, maybe torture. Like, oof, maybe that could be the worst. I have lived through one of the most painful diseases. That's a degenerative disease. And I've managed to come almost completely fully to the other side of it. And like, I know that can happen from my own personal experience. And then I'm seeing it happen to other people that I'm starting to see it happen to other people too. So, and whether it happens and then you regress again, it doesn't matter. Like you got that moment, you know, and enjoy it each moment. But yeah, torture. Like, the disease was so extremely painful. It was like torture. It was actually, it started on one side and then it moved to other sides, but it was extreme shocks, like sharp burning shocks, like once every like 60 seconds, sometimes every 30 seconds. Sometimes it would last for 30 seconds to 60 seconds to 3 minutes. And it was around the clock. It wouldn't stop, just drool and it spread all over my entire body and extremely like just, it was literally like, I couldn't even hold on, like everything I could do to hold on to my sanity. The just extreme shocks, like, Yeah, I look at like some of the poetry I wrote during that time. I just kept myself doing art. I didn't take any drugs other than ibuprofen. No, not even ibuprofen. I took Tylenol. That's it. Or yeah, yeah. I took aspirin, Tylenol. That was it. Um, and a lot of wheatgrass and vitamin B12, and eventually I got out of it. Um, but not completely. It still comes around, like when the barometer pressure like gets low, but it's never been as bad as it was. And this was during a time where a lot of people didn't know what this disease was. And so, like you didn't necessarily want to go to a doctor about it because doctors would say that you had like some kind of mental thing. It was like, but luckily I happened to have lived near one of the most progressive medical places in the world at that time. And so there were doctors that were schooled on what was going on with me, but I didn't see any of them. It was just, I heard from like a friend of a friend, like what they had to say about it. And it was just nice to know that, like, but at that time I was very like not gonna go to the doctor. And I don't know how I like survived that. But yeah, torture. I would say like, okay, so worst case scenario. I just spent like a couple minutes on that. So I'll be spending like the rest of the day giving myself positive affirmations because I let myself go there to that thing that I've been through, but I don't want to repeat that. I'm not inviting that in. So when you like do your reviews, because it is still a time of review, even with Mercury going straight, always forward, never straight. But even with Mercury, changing its like direction in, or appearing to on Sunday, when you let yourself go into these scary places, pull yourself back and then make up for it by showering yourself with the opposite kind of energy. So, the meditations that are like full of all the good stuff after that, okay? That's how we take care of ourselves. So, what was my point? So you let yourself go there. You gave yourself that. Okay. Maybe schedule out a time to give yourself that. And then you survived that. And torture can't last forever. So like I don't want to be Pollyanna about it, but I can't help it. Like I've had to be this way in order to be alive today. Like there's so many other things I've been through in my life. There's always a silver lining. And there's always like, I will say this, like hope is like the grit that falls from the gargoyle when it realizes its own self and separates from that building and flies off into the night. It's like the grit that falls from the feet of the gargoyle as it takes flight from that old structure. And you are the grit, you are the gargoyle. You are not the old structure. Your cells are constantly rebuilding themselves. So yeah. Okay, here's the last card. So yeah, meditation for clarity. This is going to be a great time between now and next week, all through next week. Start meditating on clarity. You're going to start feeling more clarity. Take advantage of Monday, August 11th. Is going to be, Lionsgate portal is great and all that jazz, even though like it's not technically Lionsgate portal the way it originally was. Like we're now in the constellation of Cancer. So it's like kind of like it still goes in that direction, but it's more like a okay, clunk. It's not like exactly lined up as like it always was, but maybe it was always lined up in that way for this time. Because these are times that are unlike any other times. Like they are profound times that we are in. So maybe all of that time was just lining it up to get it ready for now. So maybe we're in the portal. I mean, we have black holes all around us all the time. Okay, I've really gone over and beyond. I did not mean to go this long. I can't believe I went this long. I love talking to myself apparently, but hopefully I'm talking to you all too. Hopefully people will see this and it'll like bring some comfort, because that's what I get when I tune into people talking to me about astrology. and I can see that they're channeling stuff to tell me, and it helps me. And so that's like, I love receiving that, and I'm loving giving it. So I don't pay for like commercials or anything like that to make sure that I'm seen. So share and like. But yeah, Monday there's going to be an aspect that's going to take place that is very rare. It's Saturn and Uranus. It's just going to feel like things are going to start to take off and blossom. So enjoy it. Happy full moon, happy Leo season 2025. And yeah, live it, love it, be it.